Gateway Biotechnology is developing drugs for noise-induced hearing loss and a debilitating condition called tinnitus, commonly referred to as ringing in the ears. The Washington University School of Medicine academic spinoff launched at BioGenerator, the investment arm of BioSTL.
The whole idea is to drive business through this lab and then ultimately from there, with the help of other venture capitalists, out into the marketplace.
Harry Alrader is the Director of Entrepreneur Development at BioGenerator. KaloCyte is another WashU academic spinoff that launched at BioGenerator. This company is developing artificial red blood cells, which is critical for a life-saving alternative to a blood transfusion after traumatic injuries before patients arrive to a hospital. The pursuit of drugs to combat hearing loss and the pursuit for artificial blood gained considerable interest from the U.S. military and millions in grants. KaloCyte received funding from the U.S. Department of Defense, and recently Gateway Biotechnology received funding from the Department of the Army.
$10 million grant. WashU is the primary lead on that grant, because it involves surgery.
Recent achievements by startups have paved the way for a new not-for-profit program. BioGenerator launched the Center for Defense Medicine with a grant from the U.S. Economic Development Administration.
We've won $1.5 million over the next 3 years from the federal government, to be matched by $1.8 million at least from the local community. And so that's a minimum of $3.3 million that we'll have to spend over the next 3 years.
Program funding will help startups develop innovative solutions to meet the needs of U.S. military and security forces. Alrader says he's leveraging the city's strengths as a global center for bioscience research. He says St. Louis has a wealth of military-relevant medical technologies.
So the role of the Center for Defense Medicine is to provide advice to academics and to early stage companies so they can begin to crack that culture and begin to develop those relationships with potential champions inside the Department of Defense. They actually have their own medical needs, obviously, since they're putting soldiers in harm's way. And so they have their own programs where they like to fund projects that will serve the needs of the warfighter, and they'll actually eventually become a customer, right? So they actually take a different approach. It's not just driven by the science. They really know that they're working with a company and a community that can, meet all the needs of ultimately being a supplier.
He says advisors for the center will help attract and build companies that can support defense-related innovation.
So those advisors are able to work with our companies to help them acculturate and to build those relationships. They know who to call. They know who would be interested in a topic. They can provide those introductions. They can also tell us which ideas will be responsive or to the military's problems and which ones really aren't. So they'll help us prioritize technology and decide which grants to support and which ones not to. And then they'll help us, build those relationships that are so crucial to success within the DoD.
We have monthly phone calls with the Army, and we start to hear what's really interesting for them. They really want a therapy. They want something that they can deliver in the battlefield when a soldier suffers some acute trauma to the ear, a blast, a gunshot, whatever it is. They want a therapy that they could deliver immediately to that soldier to help prevent any additional damage to hearing.
And for KaloCyte, developing artificial red blood cell technology to treat blood loss in the battlefield received considerable support, but that was before the Center of Defense Medicine. KaloCyte relocated to Baltimore. Alrader says the center will help keep companies in St. Louis.
That I was just determined that we weren't going to lose another great company. And that's one of the reasons why I created the center, so that we could, give people a much stronger argument for remaining in St. Louis.